Welcome back, guys. Episode 2, Love Across Miles podcast. We made it to episode 2.
Yeah, we did. I made it to episode 2.
You made it, yes. Bailey's still here.
Yeah.
How good is that?
Yeah.
So we just want to say thanks, everyone, for supporting episode 1. That was exciting. We were excited to get it out there finally. So that was good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been good. We got some cool messages and
Yeah.
it's just been fun.
Yeah. I think now our episodes will be a bit more structured, a bit more actually like giving advice and not just about us. You know, we're cool, but people are probably over that.
Yeah, definitely.
No, that's good.
Get into the nitty gritty stuff.
The fun stuff.
Yeah.
So I guess today we're going to talk about things to consider like before you do long distance. Kind of starting at the beginning, I guess.
That's what I say. Start at the start and finish at the finish.
That's your slogan, I guess.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Let's just dive in.
Just dive in head first.
That's what you got to do in this long distance stuff.
That's true. Okay, so yeah, we have 5 different things to consider before doing long distance.
Yeah. I mean, my advice is run. Don't do it.
Yeah, well, we made it this far.
Yeah.
So, okay. Guess we'll start with number 1. This is a good one. What are your expectations in a long distance relationship? This is anywhere from like how much are you going to talk to each other? Are you going to visit each other? I guess it all depends on what type of long distance relationship you're in. Like, do you live an hour away or all the way across the world? I guess that was our situation.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, there's going to be different types no matter what, like friends, family.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and this kind of applies. All of these can kind of be applied to whether it's like a romantic relationship or like maybe you've just gotten a job somewhere else and you're thinking about moving away from your family. Like these are other, like you can apply it to that as well because, you know, it all counts and it's all like some form of long distance relationship, I guess.
Yeah.
But I guess for me, like in our relationship, talking about like commitment and what are your expectations and stuff, for me, like I feel like I figured out pretty early on. Like I didn't really know straight away, but I knew like I wanted to talk to you every day. Like I wanted to FaceTime every day.
Yeah, and that's the sort of relationship we both were in.
Yeah.
I mean, we both want to talk to each other every day. We like to, get to the end of the day and just debrief, just be like, how's your day, rah.
Yeah, that's what I liked. I liked hearing like, what were you up to?
Yeah.
Try to be involved and connected.
Yeah.
But obviously not everyone has those same expectations. Like one person might say, oh, I don't really need to FaceTime you every single day. Maybe we can just do it on the weekends or you might be busy and stuff like that.
Exactly. And I think it's something that can be talked about openly as in like, what are your expectations?
Exactly.
So are you a person that needs, like we didn't need attention, but we wanted it. We wanted to see how each other's day was and we were just interested in each other's day. But I mean, if you're cool to go from Monday to Thursday or Friday without talking to one another and just texting without FaceTime, that's what you have signed up for, and that's how it's going to work for you.
Exactly. I feel like that's a thing in like relationships in general. Like, are you expecting a good morning and good night text? Are you expecting to text throughout all day, every day? For us, it was like we couldn't really do that. We were in completely different time zones, so half the day you were sleeping and half your day I was sleeping.
Yeah, I mean, and when
so it was like we couldn't be texting 24/7. But
no, and I was working full time.
Yeah, exactly. I was in school and stuff.
Yeah, so we really relied on FaceTime.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
just our phone calls.
I would say almost even when I first went away in December, like after we started dating and I went away for those 3 months before we saw each other again, I feel like we weren't even FaceTiming every day yet. Like it was maybe like every other day or something.
Yeah, it felt like that.
I guess because we were just busy, and that's when we were figuring it out. Like at that point, we hadn't really been apart in a different time zone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly right. We were still figuring it out.
Yeah,
we were still like very unsure how this was going to work, and yeah, that's it. We're just figuring it out as we went.
Yeah, that is also another thing. You might not know your expectations up front. You might realize, oh, okay, we're only FaceTiming like every once a week. Maybe you feel like, oh, I want to FaceTime more, or you're FaceTiming every day and you feel like, oh, this is like a big commitment. Like maybe we can try every other day or, something like that. And then also not just FaceTiming and texting and stuff, but like visiting each other. Like for us, obviously, we didn't really have a choice.
Yeah, there was no visiting.
We didn't have a choice to
I can't
visit
swim
each
that
other.
far.
Yeah, that's a long way to go. But like, for example, like if it was us and we didn't have the COVID restrictions and like we literally weren't allowed to travel to each other, like we wouldn't expect to see each other once a month because it's like over $1,000 plane ride and.
Oh yeah,
It just wouldn't be
wasn't
realistic.
gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean,
you just can't have that much time off work. You couldn't have that much time away from school.
yeah. So that's something else to consider as well. Like depending on how far you live from each other. Like, are you expecting if you live only an hour or a couple hour drive away? Are you expecting that person to come and drive to you every time?
Yeah.
Are they coming to you every time? Are you taking turns?
Yep.
How is that going to work? Because I mean, yeah, it is a really big commitment, I would say. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. It's just a conversation that I feel just has to be very straight up from the start. Because if someone does do it half-heartedly, it will be a struggle from day dot.
Oh, for sure.
I don't believe anyone that's survived long-distance relationship has not had the conversation beforehand, just like, you know, I'm willing to do this, I'm prepared to do this. Are you?
Yeah.
Because we had the conversation.
Yeah, we did. It was like, how are we going to make this, you know, work?
Yeah. We had the conversation multiple times.
We figured it out as we go. I feel like that's just how it is. You
Definitely.
do figure it out as you go.
There needs to be a baseline.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
There needs to be something that is just like you can always go back to. Like, hey, just remember you said this.
Yeah, exactly. But also don't be afraid to like see how it goes, change your expectations. Maybe you're going through a busy season. Maybe you're like applying for jobs or whatever it is, busy at work. And okay, maybe we can't now do our weekly FaceTime movie date or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's about like making a commitment and also just like working together. I feel like this ties into everything. Like that's just, you have to figure out what each other are expecting so that you can, you know, deliver for each other.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. That's a big thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good for number one.
Yeah.
I guess the second thing, this is a huge one in any sort of relationship, especially long distance. Do you guys trust each other?
Oh, yeah. That is, I can't express enough how important that is. It is like the backbone of long distance. I mean, trust is everything in a relationship in general, but long distance really tests that and takes it to a whole new level.
Yes, it does.
A level that you don't even know you have.
Yeah, I would say it is really important and it's super hard. Like, especially like for us, we had only just started dating. We were still getting to know each other. We didn't even know your favorite color.
I still don't know.
We're still learning the basics of each other and everything. So it was like, do I like know you? You know, how am I going to trust this person? But like, again, you just show each other through your actions, I felt like I was able to trust you from the beginning because you know, back to number one, what are your expectations? Like I was expecting to hear from you every day. I was expecting to get updates on your life and stuff. And so doing that over and over, you build trust over time.
Yeah, and expectations and trust, that's the two things that fall straight in line to a relationship, I guess.
Exactly.
There's no relationship without trust.
Very true. Very true. Not a good one, that's for sure.
No, that's exactly right.
And I feel like, too, it's hard because you're not with them. Like, they might be hanging out with friends and stuff that you don't know. I feel like that would be super nerve-wracking for someone who isn't 100% trusting in their relationship. Like, I wouldn't know. And you can't just, you know, they're not going to come home to you after hanging out with their friends and it's all fine because you're not anywhere near each other.
And I mean, a really good tip that I was pretty terrible at that you were really good at is like taking photos.
Yes.
Like you take a photo throughout the day and then it's not like you need clarification that, hey, this is actually what I done today.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's more just like, hey, this is what I done. And you're not trying to prove it. It's just like,
I want you to be involved.
It's just that security knowing like that you trust me to share your day, whatever, whatnot. But it's like, hey, I went and done, like me at work, I went and done this today and I'd take a photo of the job completed.
Yeah.
Very rarely I did that because I'm still not good with photos, but
You're getting better.
Yeah. But it was things like that. Like, hey, this is what I've done today. Like, there's a photo. Like I said, you're not trying to prove anything. You're just like given that security of like, I was there all day and this is what I'm doing. And it doesn't take long to get that, what would you call it? Like
trust, you mean?
Yeah, trust. Yeah, definitely. But just like, I guess security.
Yes.
I mean,
that's a
just
good word.
To know that, you know.
Yeah, for me, I think the photo thing was huge in like, again,
it just built
not
trust
being
quicker.
like, show me where you were. Not,
Yeah,
like,
it was
not
never
that
that
type of way. It was just like, oh, like, you know, being involved. That was also another way I just felt completely involved. Like, I was like at Thanksgiving dinner, I remember, and I like took a video of like all the food spread out, and like, so it's like, oh, I wish you were here, you know, like this is what we're having and stuff. And just like having that little bit of connection that builds trust over time.
Yeah.
And just like, I guess, little points throughout the day, whether it's, you know, sending messages or photos and stuff like that, like just that little involvement and connection can turn into trust.
Yeah. And it also is the rolling effect of like, once you start doing the photos and the things like that, there's just so much more behind that too. You start to feel involved, and then you're like, okay, well, this relationship's working because we're both trying.
Yeah, you get like more invested in the relationship.
Yeah, definitely,
and then you build more trust.
Exactly, you're more invested in the relationship because each other are trying. You know, taking time out of your day to remember to take the photos.
Yes,
and then you go, okay, now I'm trusting you. Now I feel more involved, and that was a big thing for us.
Exactly. Yeah,
and you definitely led the way there in photos and things like that. It was like, every day I'd get 3 photos from you at least. At like, I've done this today, I've done this today. Yeah. Or, you know, just random things. Like, I don't know. It really helped me.
Yeah, definitely. I would say that was huge for me as well.
And that's how I believe our trust came so quickly.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
And like you said, with friends groups and things like that, that's a hard one to juggle.
It is.
Because you have a really good friends group and I have a really good friends group. I mean, there's not one of my friends that I can't trust.
Yeah.
And you know that now. Didn't know that at the time.
Right, because I was like, people I don't know, never met. You know?
Exactly. And now I've met all your friends and they're awesome. And I even trust all them now, and I've met them like a handful of times.
Which is really good, yeah.
Yeah, and it's things like that. I mean, I can see that being very hard to juggle.
Yeah, I would be.
And my advice to that would be just, again, if they're out with their friends group, take the photos so you know that, like, again, it's not like you're just trying to be that picky investigative.
Yeah, it's not that
sort of human. It's just like, just a sense of security, being like, you know, I can openly send you a photo and openly have a conversation about it, not trying to hide anything behind it.
Right.
And trust just flows through the door straight after that.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah, I would say that's pretty big. And like, I remember a few times even like you were with your friends and even FaceTime me, like just to say, hey, like really quick.
Yeah, I did.
Things like that. Like that was cool. Even if it was like, hey, like we're at dinner, but we have 2 seconds to just say, hey.
Yeah, I did.
Little things like that, kind of.
One of the boys that jump on the phone and just swing over the shoulder and say hello. But
yeah, things like that are cool as well. Yeah, and trust, I also think with a long distance relationship, that's something that allows you to do that maybe if you're not in a long distance, it doesn't allow as much, but it gives you a lot of time to work on yourself and like build your own confidence and your own, you know, security and who you are and the things that you're interested in, because you're not, you know, taking time. Obviously, you're still investing time, you know, FaceTiming or however you're communicating with your significant other or family or friend or whoever, but it gives you time to kind of work on yourself and like work on your goals. So, and the more you work on yourself and goals, the more you are secure in yourself and the more you can trust your partner and stuff like that as well. So it kind of all goes full circle.
Yeah, it really does. And trust, honesty, all that. Like, you know, we didn't hide anything from each other.
No, definitely not. There was no reason to, really.
Yeah, I mean, it goes for every relationship, not just long distance, but like I said, it just takes being away from each other just ramps it up.
Yeah,
like,
it does.
I didn't even know it could ramp up.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But, even if you think you're like secure in yourself and relationship, it's like, oh, this is hard.
Yeah, but I mean, that's...
Yeah, I feel like that's like baseline. You've got to trust each other. And if you're having doubts and stuff, I think it's just have that communication. Back to number 1. What are your expectations?
Exactly.
Like, you know.
And if you've had that conversation and you've had the sit down a few or multiple times and just said like, hey, what is your expectation? Remember you said this.
Yeah.
you're not showing up for that.
Yeah.
Have you changed your mind? I think that's a conversation that you kind of always have to have.
Yeah, for sure. Especially.
Luckily, we never had to do that.
No, I think we were pretty good.
We sort of jagged it a little bit because we knew what we wanted, but there will be people that get tested in that way. It's not for everyone.
No, that's definitely true. It is not for everyone, but yeah, I would say it's just, sometimes it has to be trial and error. Like you have to try it out, and sometimes you might realize like, okay, this is a bit harder than I can handle, but it is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. But,
I'd say the next, number 3, the biggest, is financial commitment. Like being in a long distance relationship, you're traveling maybe to see each other. Depends on how far you are, but it could be anywhere from just fuel in your car, driving back and forth on the weekends, to an international flight and, you know, time off work and all that kind of things. I feel like before you go into a long distance relationship, like, is this going to be something that affects, you know, you financially? For us, yeah, it did. It's still affecting us financially. It is, not great living on an island in the middle of nowhere.
It's not. It's really not.
The flights are very expensive. I mean, obviously, it's probably almost better that we had to be apart for so long, and it was just like, I visited you one time, and then it was like, you came to America, boom, that was it. We weren't going back and forth. Imagine the money we would have spent on flights. Obviously, we're now traveling together back and forth to see family and stuff, but
I mean, that's still very, very pricey.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is a conversation that has to be had as well.
Right.
What are you willing to do financially, and what are you willing to sacrifice financially to make it happen? Because it's not so much if you're doing a long distance relationship 2 hours apart and you're going to do that 3 times a week, and that's long distance to you, you've got to think about fuel and the effort that goes into, you know, getting yourself there. Like, and then on that third day, like, hey, I want to take you out for dinner. There's another financial cost because you haven't seen each other. You don't get to just get in that comfort zone of, like, you know, you can have dinner every night together where, you know, when you finally get to see each other, you do want to do something nice, or just go eat a burger on the beach or something simple.
That sounds good.
You know, just sit down, think about it, and work out what's going to be best for you. Maybe you can't get there 3 times a year if you're just going, you know, a 2-hour flight away.
Right.
But there is little things that I promise you can do that you can get out of your everyday habits.
Right,
like, you don't have to buy a coffee every day because that coffee can turn into a week-long trip to see your family.
Or you can even, that's another thing you can do if you're not visiting each other as much. You could, like, mail each other stuff or get something delivered to each other. Like,
we've done that.
Yeah, we did.
We've done that.
You can even, like, deliver food. I got donuts delivered to my mom's work for her birthday the other week, which was that was cool. Like, I could just go on my phone, order something, because it was like, I wanted to have something cute, but you know, how am I going to deliver it? Or you know, I didn't have someone to go buy something for me and do it. So that was nice as well. Doing little things like that is another way to kind of connect if you're not always seeing each other in person. Send them something in the mail. And
it's very easily done these days.
Very true. Yeah, it is a bit
very easily done.
More accessible. It is a bit of a financial commitment. Some things that maybe wouldn't necessarily be there if you weren't in a long distance relationship. For sure.
And this is just us saying these are just some steps I think you need to think about before you sign up for this stuff, because it's something we kind of touch base on, but it's nothing to the extent we thought about it is.
Right.
Until we were like halfway through, just going, whoa.
Oh.
Like, and now even now we've worked out a way to be able to go home for Christmas, and, you know, you're going back to see your family and things like that. But that's because we always said, no matter where we are in the world, if we're in Australia or if we're in America,
we want to visit.
Or wherever, it's going to be just, it's a written rule for us that we're going to be visiting our families.
For sure.
And we just make it work.
Exactly. Always. Okay. Number 4 is, what is the end goal? Like, is there an end goal? This is different for everyone, depending on why you're apart. Like, you might be in school in different places. You might have jobs in different places. Like, is there an end goal to be together or not? Is someone, you know, really happy where they're living, and maybe the other person isn't sure if they want to go to that city or not? I feel like that's something very important to consider because you can only probably take long distance for so long. Like,
Yeah.
I know I could. I probably couldn't have done it much longer than
No,
we did.
not at all.
It's like at some point you kind of get over it.
Yeah. And you need to be honest with yourself, as in, like, you know, you can say, hey, like, yeah, long distance, we'll do it for 12 months and then I'll move to you. And then 12 months comes up and you're like, do you want to move to me?
Yeah, yeah.
And that can just, you know, really put a twist on things pretty hardcore.
You're not going to know the answers to all of these things right away either. No. And your answers could change as well. I know, like, we've definitely had a lot of different ideas of what we want to do, and things have changed. Other things have become our priority.
Yeah.
But I think as long as you guys both want to be together in the end and want to eventually be together, then, you know, that's kind of the most important thing. Now, there are situations where, like, people have jobs where they go away for their job, and, you know, as long as they have that job, they're going to be away in and out. Like,
yeah, definitely. And it probably sounds like we're rambling on a little bit with, like, all our, like, topics we're talking about now, but it all falls into place when you have to have the tough conversation about, you know, what can we afford financially?
Yeah.
What are your commitments going to be? Are you willing to come to me? And it all just, like, falls into an effect. It's just like, and then you go, okay, well, maybe this can work.
Right.
And that's sort of how it all got started for us.
Very
like,
true.
We were hanging out and we were getting along really, really well. So it was a lot easier for us. But we had the conversation. Yeah. And we were just like, we kind of knew, but we didn't because COVID.
Very true. We had
really
no idea.
Put a few extra zeros on some things, but
that's true. Yeah. We didn't really know. And I feel like even now, sometimes we're like, oh man, like, this is still hard for us. Like, we're away from family and stuff. And it's like, is this really worth it? But then we go back and it's like, okay, no, this is what we want. We want to be together. So
100%.
It's important.
100%. And like I said, wherever we are in the world, we just know that we're going to be together. And we just make it work anywhere else. And there's going to be people that do it an hour away across the country or across the world.
Very true.
But just have them conversations. They are tough.
Yeah. And you don't always, exactly like I said, you don't have to have the answer right then and there.
No, 100%. I mean, we're still working some things out as long distance.
For sure. But it's just have the conversation.
Yeah, big time. And there was conversations we had over the phone, like you said before, where we were like still working things out halfway through long distance.
Right.
And we're like, okay, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
But then you're like, oh, that worked really well. Let's do that again. And then it's like a snowball effect. It really does just work itself out.
Yeah, it does eventually.
If you're prepared to do long distance.
And committed, exactly.
You have to be prepared. And when you're prepared to do it and accept it for what it is made easier.
Yeah. And that actually perfectly leads into number 5. What are you willing to sacrifice? Like, definitely in any sort of relationship, it's a give and take. Like, you're sacrificing things that you may want or be used to.
Yours was sleep. I obviously couldn't handle the sacrifice of losing sleep.
Yeah.
One, because I still have a pretty physical job. I need my beauty sleep.
Yeah.
Kendall took one for the team there, and she was like, "Hey,
yes,
I can sacrifice sleep."
That is true. That's what
I think you have to work out what each other can sacrifice to bring to the party, to the table.
Because of our time zone change, it just worked out that it was easier for me to wake up in the middle of the night to FaceTime each other. That was when we called every day. It wasn't like at a normal hour.
Yeah, and it wasn't like it was a 10-minute call. Like most nights were an hour long.
Hour long.
You know, at least.
At 3 a.m.
Yeah, and it was like you'd go back to sleep for a couple of hours and then you're up and about your day.
There were times where we watched a movie at like 3, 4 in the morning for me because that was like our little date night.
Yeah.
On FaceTime watching a movie or something. Yeah, those are the things like, if your expectation is to call every day, are you willing to sacrifice, heading off to bed a bit earlier so you can have that time to call or waking up in the night?
If you've got housemates or if you've got family that you like sitting up with, playing a board game, watching TV, or just like being around people, that's just something you have to be able to sacrifice because you're not just going to be able to go to bed and just hit the pillow and be straight out, Or my bedtime changed from like...
True.
It was going from, I don't know what time it was then, but it just moved suddenly an hour forward because it's like, hey, I'm going to bed. I'm going to call Kendall for an hour.
Yeah.
you just allow that time. That was a sacrifice I made.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
And I think it's just very important working out what you can and can't handle to sacrifice.
Yeah. True. And it doesn't have to be the same all the time. Like,
no, not at all.
You might,
financially.
Yeah.
You know,
true.
Are you wanting to sacrifice? Because it is a lot of money. We're not going to sugarcoat that.
Right. Like you might spend money visiting each other instead of, going on a trip with your friends that you wanted to do.
Exactly.
Or something.
For us, it's the whole other extent because we're going international.
True. True. Not everyone has to deal with
that. Not everyone has to deal with that. But,
lucky.
Yeah. I don't, like I said, best way to do long distance.
Don't do it.
But yeah, I can't express that enough. I mean, just work out what you can and cannot sacrifice because there is some things I can't handle, and there's some things you can't handle.
Very true. Yeah.
And don't think you have to have everything figured out.
Yeah.
On the first conversation.
Very true. Very true. Definitely not. You won't have it figured out before you.
Not at all. And if you think you do, you're in it for the wrong reasons.
Very true. And also, just like a kind of closing thing about this part, like for us, it wasn't really a question. Like we were just, we're going to make it work. We're going to do long distance. I guess we thought about it a little bit when we first kind of met and hung out because, we weren't officially dating yet.
Yeah, because you're not from Texas near me. You're from Texas.
From the real Texas.
Yeah. Yeehaw, baby.
Exactly. But it wasn't really a question. Like we were just, our end goal was to be together. So it was.
We knew what we wanted.
Yeah. And if you're not totally sure, that's also okay. It's also a trial and error. It doesn't always work out. Long distance is not for everyone, but it can be if you really want it and can make it work. Yeah.
And like I said earlier, with the whole trust thing that we've spoken about and the sacrifice, like Kendall, on weekends it was different. I'd try and wake up for her just so she got to go about a normal sleep pattern for once. But, there was Netflix. Kendall done it on.
Netflix party.
Yeah, whatever it was.
It was like a thing online where you can connect your Netflix screens.
But we would FaceTime at a stupid time in the morning for Kendall because she was sacrificing that time of her sleep. We would just FaceTime, literally sit the phone beside us and would watch a movie together.
Yeah, and not even really talking that much.
And that led us just to trust each other because we were just literally
spending time.
Just spending time. And that's the time that we had. Like, we didn't have time to lay there and watch a movie together, but that's what we made it work. And that's how we made it out to be, so. Yeah.
Okay, so now we'll get into our love notes segment. So this week we have a question. So the first thing, thank you so much for writing in. Also, if you do want to write in, there's the link. We'll put it in the description below in the show notes. And it's also in the link in our social media bios. So if you want to write in, if you have a question, you want to ask us, about long distance, about anything, feel free to write in. If you have a funny story or experience, let us know. And
if there's things that you think we're missing or left out, just ask us because... Like Kendall said, we went through a pretty hard extent of long distance.
Definitely. Or if you have advice for other people as well, if you 100%. Have other advice.
Just shoot it away.
Okay, so we have a question. What were some things you guys did to stay and feel connected even when you were so many miles apart? And how did you stay consistent with it? Well, like you said, we made up creative ways to be connected, I feel. Yeah. We watched the movies together. We started a show together. That didn't go as well. The movie thing was a bit hard, but we did do that a handful of times, which was like a nice way to stay connected.
Yeah, and it worked. We'd just sit there. We'd have a little conversation like, hey, let's watch a movie. We were dead set, like prop the phone up beside us and just sit there and watch a movie together. And if something funny would it's just that laughing together and just being able to make the same joke at the same time.
Experience the same thing.
Mailing each other. We mailed a lot of things.
We mailed gifts and stuff. Yeah. That was a really good way to stay connected.
Yeah. And it also brings me back to the photos.
Yes. That's a huge one.
Like photos, pictures.
Yeah, that was huge.
Like I said, I was probably... Kendall struggled a bit in this area because I'm terrible at photos. I still am.
You're not a photo person.
No, I don't think I ever will be.
One day. Yes, you will. If you're going to marry me, you will be.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
That was a threat.
But yeah, photos are like a very big thing because...
That's huge way to stay connected.
Everything else I talked about for trust and everything else. But it was just a thing that you could connect with, and you could just be like, oh, that's what you done today. You know, it was cool. And especially being in other countries for us, I didn't know how it really worked there. Kendall didn't really know how it worked here. It still works very different.
Still figuring it out.
Yeah. But yeah, photos was a big thing for me, and I feel like it'd help anyone else.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And another one is like, if you've got 2 minutes up your sleeve, just shoot that phone call away.
Yes, that was huge for us.
I love that. Like my phone would just, like, I'd be like, Kendall, hey, I'm working in the shed.
Yeah.
And Kendall would be like, okay, he might have his phone. She might have a spare 5 minutes, and she'd just shoot me a phone call and be like, hey, what's up? How you doing? I'm doing this. Okay, cool. Gotta go.
All right, I gotta go.
It might be a minute phone call. Could have been a 5-minute phone call. But if you can get that phone call away, that helped big time as well.
Oh, definitely.
You make every minute count.
Yes, that's very true. I would always get super excited. Sometimes you'd be like driving to work and you would just call me.
Yeah.
And so like that was like in the middle of the day for me. And normally I wouldn't get to talk to him till like the next day, like 3 a.m. So I would always get super excited, and that was really special and definitely made me feel more connected.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, I guess staying consistent with it. It was like, we enjoyed those things. We felt connected during it, so we wanted to keep doing it.
And it goes back to making it work. You have that mindset of, this is how it's going to be. It just becomes natural.
It does.
Like you literally go, oh man, I got 5 minutes. You just go whack, phone call, bang. How you doing?
How you doing? Exactly. Okay, into our second one. Kendall and Bailey, congrats on the first episode, and honestly, congrats on making it through long distance dating. Thank you. It was hard.
Yeah, don't do it.
So this person says, I lost one of the best relationships I had with my best friend to a long distance relationship. We are still friends, but it's a very hollow relationship compared to the one we had before we dated. We went to high school together, but then after high school, we never really lived in the same place at the same time until COVID, when they were back in the same city. So they started spending a bit more time together. I'm paraphrasing here. And decided to try being in a romantic relationship. Long story short, he moved away and I was supposed to move there with him, but we had different expectations and needs when we were apart, and I pulled the pin, called it quits, and moved away instead. I learned a lot from the experience and would be very hesitant to do it again. So this person obviously experienced long distance, but in the end ended up losing a friend to it, a friend that turned into a romantic relationship, and obviously the relationship didn't work. So maybe turned them off long distance.
Yeah, this is tricky.
That's hard. Yeah.
I just got to ask, like, did you ever have the conversation about the financial, can we trust each other?
Yeah.
You know, was long distance ever going to work?
Yeah.
Was that conversation ever had?
Yeah, it seems like she didn't really have the same kind of expectations or like end goal. I feel like they had different end goals. Yeah. Really. Like that person moved away to a different city, and like she didn't really feel like that was where she wanted to go, maybe, or for whatever reason.
And that just simply because it was just a misguided conversation about, like, you have to be straight up direct with each other. Every relationship has to be that, but like I said, long distance takes it to a whole nother level when you can't leave anything out.
Very true.
You have to wear your heart on your sleeve, and it will not work if you don't.
Yeah.
Like,
if you're not sure.
No, if you're so unsure about it, I don't feel like it's going to work. And it's okay. It's not for everyone.
It is not for everyone.
We probably wouldn't do it again.
No, we've actually said that, so we probably agree.
No.
Yeah,
I wouldn't.
I don't think I would either, just because it doesn't really end, like for us at least, it doesn't really end when you're together. Like for us, like we're now away from family and stuff. So it's just shifted into a new way of long distance.
Yeah.
And knowing that, like, it's like, is that really... You know, obviously at this point in our relationship, we're not going anywhere. Like we are committed to each other, and we're going to make it work. Like, that's like our slogan. Make it work.
Make it work.
Tattoo. Make it work.
Make it work.
But yeah, that is hard. Losing a friend in the process of a relationship. That's always scary. Dating a friend. It's always like you want to date your best friend because you know you get along so well. And I feel like me and you were besties. But we were like bestie.
Nah.
What?
Nah, we've been good.
But you also, like, if things go awry, then it's like, ooh, how do you go back to just being friends? Obviously, this girl says that their friendships very hollow compared to how it was before.
Yeah, I understand that. I mean, like, and you probably are pushing yourself away because you don't want the same thing. You don't have the same end game. If we didn't have the same end game, the only way for me to stop loving you, caring for you, whatever, I would have to distance myself.
Right.
Otherwise, I'm just going to be following you around like a little puppy dog. Not happy. Yeah. Everyone deserves to be happy.
Exactly. Yeah. And if you don't have those same goals and stuff, it is okay to walk away and say, 100%. You know what, that's just not
100%. So just my advice personally would just be, did you have that conversation?
Yeah.
And it's okay to accept long distance as it's not for everyone.
Yeah. Very true.
You just have to have them hard conversations. If you've had them conversations and it didn't work, well then I'm out. I can't help you.
Yeah,
but
that's a tough one.
Yeah,
exactly.
You just have the mindset of it's on, baby.
It's on like Donkey Kong. Yeah, that kind of wraps up today's episode. Again, like if you guys want to write in for next week's episode, definitely do that. Link in the description or in the link in our Instagram and TikTok bio as well.
We got all that?
Yeah, we got all that.
Oh,
Bailey just sits in the chair and then he's gone.
This is me.
Also, so you can also watch us video form on YouTube and audio now on Apple Podcasts as well and Spotify. So
you're spitting some big lyrics over there, right?
Check it out.
Wow.
Okay. Come back for next week's episode.
Yeah, don't do long distance.
Thanks,
See ya.
Guys. Bye.